Sometimes I find them here, but I would say more often than not I find nothing. We're gonna find a salamander. I can't. Oh. Armadillo! Armadillo! Nope. I don't know why anybody wouldn't find this fun. Oh, here's a cool ant that has made some compartment. Oh, I think I saw something. No way, yes! I found one! Yes! All right. So that is a Pseudotriton ruber. That's a northern red salamander. Look how beautiful that guy is. The whole discovery process for me of seeing these animals for the first time and just being so shocked and overcome by how cool they are, there's just something really cool about it. And how they're all around you, but you just don't see them because you have to look for them. You have to be looking under cover objects, which again, most people, when they walk through a forest, they're just walking through a forest. They don't know how many of these things are just all around them. Oh, I'm like super stoked now.
Salamanders have been around since before the dinosaurs, 40 million years before the dinosaurs. And they've been evolving and radiating out and adapting to different habitats ever since. Alabama's salamander diversity partly is because we're on the south end of the Appalachians, and that is the epicenter of salamander diversity in the world. And then in Alabama, we get the benefit of a lot of those species, plus we pick up some coastal plain species. So that's resulted in us having close to 50 species of salamander.
Salamanders come in such a wide variety of shapes and sizes, you know. The ones most people are familiar with are your four-legged salamanders. They're a few inches long. They got a nice long tail. Oftentimes will have, relatively enlarged eyes, and they can come in a multitude of beautiful colors with bright yellows and even reds and purples and blues. But, we also have a lot of other salamanders that don't look like what most people think of when they think of salamanders.
One year, we lost 47 salamanders out on this road when buses were coming in and going out because of a game going on at the high school.
The event happened it was a big breeding night for the salamanders, and it didn't end well for a lot of the salamanders.
I'm Michelle Blackwood, and I'm with Friends of Shades Creek. Our mission is to protect Shades Creek and the creatures and the area around Shades Creek.
From kind of here, that way is main breeding habitat for our spotted salamanders. That the adults live in the woods, and then in late winter, as early as mid-December, they will migrate across the road at night, and they move into the breeding ponds over here, mate, lay their egg masses, and then they go through their life cycle and join the migration when they're old enough.
The road makes it dangerous for the salamanders. So now we put up
barriers at the beginning and the end to stop people from continuing down the road and trying to save the salamanders that are crossing.
Salamanders are a very important part of our ecosystems, particularly in the Southeast and Alabama. Just having the presence of all those salamanders, one, eating things like mosquito larvae, which nobody likes, but also providing a mid-level to the food web, right? Lots of things also eat salamanders, and so they're an integral part of our food webs out in our ecosystems. So today we're out at the Kanaka National Forest looking for giant salamanders called amphiomas, and we got some traps set out, and hopefully we'll find a really cool giant salamander hiding in one of our traps. Three in that one. The two-toed amphioma is the longest salamander species found in the United States. Looking in the water, you can see them, using those little tiny legs. They do nothing to propel them across land. Amphiomas, while they're fully aquatic, they spend all their time in the water. They have to come up and breathe. They have some really cool electromechanoreceptors covering particularly around their face but going down their body that are very similar to the ampullae of Lorenzini found in sharks that allow sharks to sense electrical impulses and pressure waves in the water to find their food. Amphiomas have that same capability. They're relatively understudied compared to a lot of our salamander species, but in my opinion, one of the most fascinating salamanders that we have.
Try not to get hit by a car. People don't slow down even when there's people in the road. The average person walking past this would say, yeah, here's just a bunch of mud. But there's actually a lot of life in here. So, maybe this little leaf litter and we get so much mud. Oh, something just swam in there, didn't it? Got one. This animal is going to transition from breathing in water via its gills to breathing in air with its lungs. In this water is where spotted salamanders are breeding. We find their egg masses here. We have found the gilled larvae here. And what we want to know is when do they actually metamorphose and start their migration into the woods. So ideally, the salamander leaves the pond, the breeding pond, will hit this drift fence and then go up and over the ramp, triggering the camera, and then be off on its way. At this point, I'll be excited to get one, but you never know when you're going to find the thing that nobody else has seen before.
I was constructing a trail. I was putting in a culvert, and I was on a backhoe, and I was getting some borrowed dirt to cover the pipe. And I got a scoop of dirt and dumped it, and when I did, I noticed a lizard in the dirt. So I got down and picked him up, and the recognition of the red-heeled salamander had just started. I had heard of it, but I figured that's what it was, and that was before the digital age. So I drove the backhoe back to the house and took a picture of him, sent the film off, and I was told by several people that knew more about it than I did that they didn't exist in Wilcox County. So, you know, I just kind of let that slide. And that's been 25 years ago or longer. My name is Tommy Lawler. I'm a 72-year-old timber owner, landowner. I've always enjoyed the out of doors.
So the Ruffled salamander is a really special salamander. It's the only member of its genus, Vignathus. They are highly fossorial, so they stay underground most of the time in these little burrows on very steep slopes in the red hills. They'll wait at the edge of their burrow and wait for an insect or a spider to come by, and they're lightning fast. They can snatch an insect in like a nanosecond.
This is Norman. He's a tiger salamander. He's rare in this area and protected.
We've been doing the Salamander Festival for over 20 years. Having the festival is important because people learn how salamanders live, what their life cycle looks like, and people actually get to hold one. And I think that really makes a big difference. They really get in contact with them.
Amphibians are having a tough time in a lot of ways. There's been a number of diseases that have cropped up in recent years. Habitat loss is really the big thing for all wildlife, salamanders included.
The proposed development is across the road from where I'm standing. Apparently they had been working on it for a couple of years, unknown to us. And it was going to be Sanford's new soccer field and track. Our group and people associated with our group wrote letters, attended meetings. We were very aggressive about talking about what was here and what would be lost if this development took place.
And what was really going to be impacted was the breeding ponds. So, and if animals don't have a place to reproduce, then the population will just go extinct.
Oh, it's so pretty. It is. Hi, buddy.
Salamanders do a lot for people. I think salamanders play an important role in just our well-being, just knowing salamanders are out there. You know, watching the joy of a young child experience a salamander for the first time is a pretty magical experience.
There's nothing more fun than watching kids enjoy seeing salamanders in a creek and going out and turning rocks and squealing when they see a little squirming salamander trying to get away.
I found this really adorable orange and black salamander, and we named it Pumpkin.
I love to think of the salamanders as like little patterns. If I had to choose like an amphibian to know more about, I would choose a salamander.
Go free! Bye-bye!
In this little box is the reason we are here today. Students that come to the Salamander Festival each year, these kids come and they're like, oh my goodness, I never knew that there was such a thing as a salamander. And it's right down, right across the street. And if that habitat is destroyed, we won't have any of those opportunities ever again. Thank you.
Even children that had been at the festival helped us tell the story about the salamanders. And they made drawings of salamanders, and they said, "Save the salamanders." And they even wrote a letter with their own wording and their own pictures that they sent to Sanford and said, "Save the salamanders."
I think we can stand up now and very confidently say, we've saved the salamanders.
The developer and the university reconsidered. Because they were interested in protecting the salamanders too, they just didn't know that much about them at first.
And that's what the festival is all about, is about bringing that information to the public so that they know that we have this very cute and very wonderful creature near our homes. It's a very valuable thing.
They have just as much right to be here as we do, and we shouldn't be losing them, not on our watch.
If I rode through here and couldn't find a salamander, I'd be very disappointed, you know. It's an endangered species. I mean, you know, it's only known in 6 counties in Alabama. And so that's just kind of a no-brainer. If this is the only place of existence, you know, in my opinion, it's kind of like protecting the pyramids in Egypt.
Anybody can be a herpetologist. The key is just get outside, be curious, and that's how you be a scientist. You know, this is a form of play, and it's a form of creativity. So that's the fun part of science. Yes, it's really just being a kid as an adult.
Alabama has a truly incredible diversity of salamanders. I think a lot of people don't really realize and appreciate the magnitude of our diversity of salamanders. Parts of Alabama can contain more salamander species than anywhere on Earth.
I really have loved being here because of all of these animals that are kind of just everywhere. There's a lot of creeks and there's a lot of forest, and then there's all these species of salamanders. It's sort of like a secret, and it's awesome.